Hello and good afternoon. It's a late Friday afternoon and I'm recording this live on YouTube and I'm unable to check it to see if it's actually running properly. But I'm giving this really candid, unprepared disclosure of my life and languages and where it all came from. I've held back. I've not dug deep. I've not showed you guys the true amazingness of learning a language. So a lot of you who are my students, you know that or you've been watching my YouTube channel for years. Thank you for watching and subscribing. And if you're new, stay tuned because this journey is really interesting. If you've seen how I started learning languages as a child and just carried on taking more language classes, you probably missed the story, and I missed the trick. Someone's just recently told me how impactful languages have had on my life. So I went to primary school, and when I was in year six, there was a French club in the attic of my primary school. And when I went into this club, I hadn't realized what a happy little place it was. It wasn't that was my first experience and I was really good at languages. It was a little safe place. A safe place that the Natasha who loved to learn, totally geeked out and loved learning, was a bit too isolated in my classroom normally. She was a bit too isolated. She was picked on. Kids just didn't like how she loved to learn, how she was so passionate about learning, how she was so geeky into stuff. I mean, I had a science kit. We learned the Morse code at school. Nobody learned it off by heart. We just learned what it was. There was a sheet called the alphabet in the Morse code. I had this math set. I went to a swimming class at my nan's house. Well, I stayed at my nan's house. And that night, I wrote tons and tons of sentences using Morse code. By the morning, I'd learned Morse code off by heart. So I went to my class, made these little sentences. None of the kids could decipher it because they hadn't learned Morse code. But this was me staying at my nan's house overnight, which I never did. Stopped up really late. And I was just learning this Morse code. I was just such a nerd. And that's great. But if you're not surrounded by people who love to learn too, and it's encouraged and it's the norm, and it's like schools give you tons of homework. Schools never gave homework in those days. You had to apply for an extra project. You had to ask and say, can I do a special take-home project for holiday, for half term? So this little language club for me was more than I thought. It was a place where I felt safe. Nobody took the mickey out of me for going to the club. Nobody gave me drama. I don't remember any drama at all, any negative feelings about being in this French club. So this is coming out waffled. I'm not going to edit this. This is just me talking about languages. So I'm a languages teacher. Yes, it gave me my career, but let's fast forward a bit. I learned languages in this attic. I went to secondary school. And again, the story continued. I loved the language experience. I can just see myself on the screen. I'm going to get rid of it. I loved the language experience, and I was better at it than anyone else in my class because no other primary school was doing language classes or clubs before going to secondary school. So I was better than these private kids at hockey, tennis. They all had private lessons. I didn't have private lessons. I had private lessons at music, but that was the only thing. But I wasn't great at that. Apparently I was okay, but I didn't think I was that great. So all of a sudden, this languages experience was like, I can shine. I can be brilliant. I can enjoy it. I can find it easy. I can measure up. Coming from a poor beginning, a family with good values and a mixed upbringing, all of a sudden going to this posh school. But actually, languages, I was good at languages. I could be good at languages. I wouldn't get teased for being good at languages. And I could go on these French exchanges and travel and explore and make friends. And even if I didn't have friends in the group, I could make friends in that country and I could just be me. I could explore. All of a sudden, languages just filled my head with positivity. It was an escape and a whole new life. Regardless of how miserable I was at school, regardless of how I couldn't connect with certain people at school, regardless of how much I got teased by the bullies that I'm not going to swear. Regardless of how negative my feelings were about school life on the whole, on these exchanges, on these trips, on these travels, it was a whole blank canvas, a new start and a new place for me to reinvent myself, to be me, to explore and enjoy. And meeting a new family, having these experiences it just fueled me more and more and more. So no wonder I couldn't stop taking on more languages. I did French, I did German, I did Spanish, I could go on a holiday with my family in Spain. I could come back with cool stuff, cool pens. And it was like, oh, where did you get that from? Oh, I've been on holiday. And all of a sudden, just this little Natasha that people used to pick on and see as this little person was alive and didn't care and was like, actually, do you know what? You know, two kids, one kid nicked my pen, another kid nicked my little scissors. And I was like, no, you didn't get, these are mine, you know, and I learned to speak up for myself a bit more. And it was like, you know what? Forget all that stuff. I've got my own place. I've got my own little space where I can go to Spain and I'm this different person. I'm in this happy explorative world and people take me there and they speak to me, they take me or they leave me, and there's no negativity. I'm just happy and free. So languages gave me that freedom. They gave me the platform on which I could shine. They gave me passion, exploration, confidence, self-belief, discipline. My God, the amount of times I'd mess up and get a phrase wrong, I'd be really scared of saying something, but I just kept turning up and speaking. I just kept messing up, making conversations, getting mistakes, just kept talking, just kept getting back out there, kept seeing people, kept studying. I went to an evening class on my own at 16 because I wanted to learn Spanish and they wouldn't let me do it at school. I learned so much more from the language. Imagine what you can learn from other adults, from other cultures, other countries, just by embracing and being, just not being a typical Brit and just learning the basics or not even learning it at all. So I picked up on these things, and yes, it gave me my career, but touching on how that went from before to having this big business to having my daughter and then having what happened to my daughter now. I'll tell you about this another time, but it was the languages that got me out of the bad situation I was in. It was the languages, the teaching, helping people, showing people what I'd learned, how to do what I'd learned as a British person, not being born in another country, no foreign parents, learning English, learning French, Spanish as a British person. I showed other people how to do that. I got my confidence and self-belief back. And over time, you know, all these students stayed with me during the pandemic, during the rebirth of me coming out and stepping back out and leaving and living on my own with my daughter now and surviving as a mother, single mother, and growing. All the trauma I went through, the languages enabled me to be a different person, enabled me to be a teacher, a mentor, a leader. They enabled me to step up. And I hadn't realized till today how amazing the world of languages is, in that it gives me the platform to be me. It gives me the platform to speak. It's not just me teaching other people. It's me being in another country, able to make friends. I can make friends in 3 weeks. I'm confident I can go to any country in the world and make friends within 3 weeks. I can learn the language. If I don't know the language, I'll learn it. If I know the language, 3 weeks is easy because I've got those habits and I've got that freedom. And my mum and dad gave me the opportunity by paying for me to go to those countries when they probably couldn't afford it. So it wasn't the career they gave me, the income. They gave me that place to feel confident and happy and to get a degree. Yeah, I got the degree. I've got a career from it. So all these things led to another. But happiness, that love, I love to travel. Can you not remember that buzz when you get to go somewhere and you love exploring, you love going down these places and talking to people, having interactions? But the basics of life is to be happy, to feel loved, to feel accepted, to feel happy in a surrounding. And for me, languages is what that gave me. So I'm going to start changing how I promote myself and what I do. It's not just about helping people feel confident on holidays or in business situations. It's going to be about those kids who don't fit in science, in sports, in music, in academic subjects that are very normal. You know, it's about, you know, I've got the solution. I've got this whole world of languages, confidence, instilling children in practical skills, life skills, communication, inner power and judgment, and how to communicate with the world, how to be out there on your own and still be okay. Because in England, things were pretty miserable. But interestingly enough, I can recreate this whole world somewhere else, and just, you know, there's no judgment. If I don't fit in, it doesn't matter, because I can choose all these different people who I want to be friends with and interact with, and they can choose me, and we just get along. And it's just, you know, so academically, children gravitate to where they feel comfortable and where they feel good, and I can give them this environment, this this place where I felt that vulnerability, and I've also seen how you can flip it and change it and just get yourself confident and use practical tools, conversations, activities, platforms, materials, and the training and the right guidance and the plan to get the grades, which open these doors. I mean, being fluent in a language and being able to keep growing and building and learning new vocabulary, learning new conversations is such an amazing thing. So I'm going to be doing a kids class where, you know, we all get together and we have this regular contact time together, where we're not just learning how to say this, how to do that. We're learning to build a new world. We're learning to speak. We're learning to communicate. We're learning to be confident. We're learning that we can shape a new life in a new place. So it's the belief system and everything. So if you're interested in that and you just totally want to know more, get in touch with any method you can in the socials. I am MLS Natasha on Twitter and Facebook, facebook.com/MLS Natasha. And I think there's MLS-UK as well on Facebook. There's the YouTube that this is distributed on, currently going live. And I haven't checked the comments because I'm not used to doing Zoom on YouTube. And I didn't want to see myself in the background twice on my Zoom screen and a delay. So when this officially goes live and I see the comments, I need to work this out. I need a new streaming software. But I just really, now I've just finally found the missing link in getting over my fears and getting over my blocks and promoting what I do and helping more kids and setting up these groups. I'm ready now. I'm ready to help those children who, you know, want that nurturing, need that support, need that environment where they can learn the language and speak and get proper support. Because let's face it, there's a lot of resources out there that are great and you can self-study, but having that one person with that passion to bring them together, that passion and direction to help them to speak, understand, be confident, develop the mentality and the mindset and confidence. So ping me a message and let's get their names down to join the course if you're interested, and share. I need to help as many children as I can who've had this situation where, you know, they're frustrated, they want more, they want to find something that suits them. And languages can really suit a lot of children who have different areas of where they need to grow and feel fulfilled. So I can't wait to share more news with you guys. So watch this space, I'll be sharing more and more. Just contact me, send me a message, just chat. Tell me what you're thinking. If you've watched this video and you've gone, oh my God, that was me at school. I want to know, you know, whether you're interested in languages or not. I'd love your feedback in your comments. And people do say different videos they can relate to, and it gives me a bit of a warm fuzzy feeling if I know that people have read something or heard something that I've said that kind of made them think and look. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I'm going to stop this video now and wish you guys a wonderful Friday evening if you're in England, or a lovely Friday afternoon if you're in the States and further beyond, because you guys in my network reach far and wide. So yeah, have a fantastic weekend. That's it from me. Take care. Bye bye.